When I first started putting videos out on YouTube, instructing people on how to handle the accounting for real estate brokers and agents in QuickBooks Online, it was for a specific purpose. It was because I was hoping, and it sure enough happened, that a lot of you would reach out to me and hire me to help you. And as a result of that, it's interesting. I thought more people might hire me to actually do the accounting. But instead, what I got was a lot of you who wanted just one-on-one help where I could walk through things with you and make sure that you understood how to record a listing from the gross commission to the net amount that the house sort of keeps after all the expenses are paid. Now, because I've probably worked with hundreds of brokers and agents as a result, I've seen a lot. And I've learned a lot along the way, which is ultimately why I decided to put this course together. It's kind of the culmination of everything I've learned between, what I had already learned and then, all the knowledge I accumulated as a result of these one-on-ones. Because at one point I worked with a franchisee for the first time, and I started to, it never really occurred to me, frankly, before I had the experience of working with somebody from a Remax, I think was the first franchised brokerage that I worked with. Of course, there's royalties that have to be taken into account, right? And so the royalties, I just had to think about it for a minute. Like, okay, it's not that much different than something that's paid at the table because you earn the gross commission, but then the royalties are withheld and the difference has dropped into your account. So you've already seen a video on how to use the sales clearing account to handle exactly that kind of thing. And that kind of bottom lines it as far as, what I've taken from the collective experience that I've had working with lots and lots of you is when you're looking at your transactions and how to put them together in the accounting software, we have to put that P&L together, that profit and loss together for a single listing. And that's in fact what I started to do with everybody that I've worked with. Is the first thing I do when we go through a deal, first of all, I say, take out your hairiest, most audacious, just ugliest with all the hair you can find on a deal. In other words, anything that would make it more complicated, find the worst deal you can find and let's put that one together. Because if you can understand how to do something like that, the rest will seem very simple. So in doing that, I've run into a lot of, oddball kind of things, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word. And I've learned a lot, but really thinking through, at the end of the day, the bottom line of it is this. Did it run through my bank account or didn't it? That kind of sums up probably 90% of everything you have to figure out in terms of how is something paid for, right? No matter what happens, before a listing closes, you'll incur some expenses, right? You'll have maybe some staging expenses. You might throw some parties to try and promote the listing. So there's going to be some expenses you incur prior to the listing closing. But I've already shown you in the prior videos exactly how you can use that customer drop down to tag the listing in that expense, so that when you run that profit and loss for the expense, it will show up. That's a good chunk of it, right? And then when the listing closes and you record the sales receipt like I've shown you, well, that, of course, is already associated with that listing because that's the customer you use on that very sales receipt form. And, of course, the sales receipt describes the income that was earned, the gross commission that was earned for the brokerage, right? And that's so really what I'm getting at is you're picking up the pieces of everything that describes the whole financial picture for that one listing. One of the videos I have on YouTube, somebody recently commented and said something like, oh, you left out all this stuff, and he was talking about paying the agents and whatnot. And of course I explained that the purpose of this video wasn't to explain everything about how to record the whole deal. It was just how to record the commission earned, right? And that kind of underscores my point is you have to learn to record the pieces of these things, and then the pieces come together in that final picture, which is that profit and loss by listing. But the only thing that ever complicates this really is when you have something that, an expense that's essentially paid for that never hits your bank account, right? And I've already explained to you, how to handle those kind of things. So, of course, entering into the course is going to solidify all of that, and it's going to give you a nice sequential resource that you can refer back to anytime. So I'm not saying you have everything you need and don't need the course, although some people might be able to pick up enough of, from what you've seen to not need the course, and that's fine. If I've accomplished that, then that's amazing. But for the rest of you, tomorrow you're going to get a video from me that explains the instructions for how to make sure you can take advantage of this early bird offer that I'm going to make. I'm going to, go live with the course for the first time, and I'm going to have some bonuses that I'm going to include for this 1 week only while this sales period is open. And the reason is, and I've explained this previously, is that as soon as this part's done, I'm moving on. I've got another course to do, and I won't have time to do something like this again. So with that in mind, within the next few days, I'm going to be launching this course for the first time, and with that, this bonus offer, which, like I said, there's going to be a sales period of about 1 week open where you can jump in and take advantage of this, and then that's it. So make sure you click the button below to get added to the list for the early bird, wait list, and that way you'll be first to be notified as soon as this launch goes live so that you can jump in and take advantage.